Hello, Good News channel viewers. Today we are going to talk about a psychological or a counseling related topic called defense mechanism. So, what is defense mechanism? It is one of the concepts where everyone operates on a very daily basis, which also helps a person to cope in every actual events that the person faces. In psychology, defense mechanism is one of the term coined by Sigmund Freud, and he had said, when we have anxiety and when our mind feels it difficult to cope up with the anxiety, it builds wall around the hurt that we have. And how do we know that we have? We will go through it one by one. So, what and how this defense mechanism helps us? This defense mechanism helps us in coping the anxiety by actually suppressing it, repressing it, or talking it away in a very humorous way. Now, how this helps us and in what way it is not helping us? We will see this in a very detailed fashion today. How this defense mechanism is getting operated inside of us or in the relationships that we have. Number one, in all everyday transactions that we have with our people or the way we have grown up, we would always unconsciously would have developed certain mechanisms that are operating through us and in us. So, defense mechanism is also that kind of a mechanism or a coping strategy that helps us to get eased during our anxiety. Let's say, for example, a school or a college going person is having an issue with her friend and she fights with her friend and she thinks that she's not being understood or she's not being realizing what is happening around, and with that frustration she gets home. Now, when she gets home, her mother is there, and when the mother notices that there is some differences in the child, she asks the child what is wrong. The first answer the child would say, I am fine, nothing's wrong. But the mother would sense based on the tone that something is not right. So, the mother gives the child space, and after 5 to 10 minutes, the mother comes back to the child again and says, what is wrong? Is something wrong? You want to talk about something? And the child again says, I am fine. After this, after let's say 15-20 minutes, the mother gets back to the child and says, why don't you fold the clothes, or why don't you help me in the household chores? The child is getting irritated and says, often you ask me to work at home, or you make me work whenever I come back from college or from school, and you don't understand me at all. Immediately, this will trigger the mother. And the mother will shout at the child saying, I am the one who is doing everything at house. You are just trying to help. I am asking you to help me, but you are not obeying me. And she will start lamenting, saying, I am the one who is sacrificing everything. I take care of you and I am doing everything, but this is not respected. Immediately, this daughter or the child will get frustrated and she will say, you don't understand me. You are not at all understanding me. And she bangs the door and she goes inside the room and she starts hearing music. This triggers the mother who is at home preparing the meal for the child. Let's say while evening, the father of the house, the man of the house, the father returns home. And when the mother is serving tea to the father, she complains about the daughter, saying that she is not helping and she's always grumpy and a lot of complaints like that. This is overheard by the daughter, and the daughter angrily comes out and she starts complaining about the mother, saying that she is not understanding and you don't understand, you are not parents who are not understanding at all. And immediately a tension arises in the atmosphere and the father says, keep quiet, go to your room. And again she does some behaviors or some movements and she says, you're always like that. You only support your wife. And she gets angry and she gets to the room. Now, in this scenario, there are a lot of things we through discussion, we will get to know that they have been operating in the defense. Now, first, when the daughter landed up at home, it would have been a better scenario, or it would have been a complete different scenario when the daughter says, "Ma, I had an issue with my friend at college. I had a fight with her. I didn't know what to do. I'm in that tension." Things should have been different. So, what is the defense here? When the mother asked the daughter what happened, immediately she said, "I am fine, nothing is wrong." We call that defense as denial. So, what is denial? Denial is you are hurt, you are not okay, but when somebody questions you, you deny the fact that you are not okay. This can be seen in a very emotional setups where people are bargaining within themselves, agreeing to what the reality is. Like this college going girl who says, "I am fine." That is denial. So, what's the second defense? When she was at home, the mother asks her to do some chores. And immediately, because of the tension that she's had in the college, she starts complaining about the mother to the mother itself, saying that you are not understanding, you are asking me to work, which is projection. As in, you complain or you put the reason on another person for what you have done. It is a responsibility as a part of the member or part of the family to work along with the mother or to help her. Or it would have been better if the child would have said, "Ma, because of this, can you give me some time?" That would be better. Whereas, even when the father was listening to the mother's conversation or the mother's complaint, the child said, "You are not understanding me." The child did not express in the first place to understand. But she says she's projecting that they are not understanding. So, the second defense is projection. Now, let's say the next day the girl gets back to the college and she's talking and she's reconciling with the friends. And when she's talking, or a few days later when she's discussing it with her friends what had happened at home, she would never say it in a very sad and a very moody way. She would smile and she would laugh and she would have talked and her friends would have teased. So, what is this defense? This is humor. We tend to, share our experiences. Like, in our childhood, my mother used to bang me, my mother used to whack me. I used to run throughout the house to get away from my mother. We never cry and say, but we laugh and say. Which is good, but in certain ways or in certain scenarios where the sensitivity of it has to be addressed, we apply humor to it so that our mind feels light. Even we can relate to us, especially when we are talking to our friends, when we talk about whatever bruises life has given us, we explain it, we tease each other while talking about it. Why? Because not to present it in a heavy way, but rather in a way we can get out of it and also accept the fact that it is there. What's the next defense that we can talk about here is displacement. When the mother shouted or when the father said, "Talk to the daughter," she went and she banged the door. Actually, she was angry with a friend. Now she's getting angry and frustrated because of the parents, which is not shown to them, but it's shown to the object. So, what is displacement? Displacement is something where you displace an anger to a person or to an object which is not related to your actual hurt. Many a times in life when we are getting frustrated, do you realize that we throw our phones, we bang the door, we crush a bottle, we throw a notebook because we are unable to express the anger or we are unable to confront our hurt to the person who had made it. But because of that, we show it to another person or we show it on another object. That is displacement. Another defense that we can talk about is sublimation. We have lot of urges inside of us, but we tend to find an acceptable position in the society. So therefore, what we do behavior which will make us acceptable. Let's say example, people or young adults who've been affected by drug abuse or any heartbreaks, they tend to go to gym because being in that failure or being in that substance abuse, it is unacceptable for them to get the same energy or for them to get the same hike, they go to gym. There are many people, they streamline into physical activities because they have aggression levels high in their mind. This is also displacing and this is also sublimation. Why sublimation? Because you turn yourself in a way so that it will be an acceptable manner. It will be in an acceptable manner. Another defense mechanism that operates is repression. Now, what is repression? This everyone possesses. This is where people keep everything inside of them. They don't talk about it, they just observe it, they just bottle it up or they lock it inside their mind room. They never open up it and they suffer silently. Or they push it away so that they forget. And all of a sudden when something triggers, unknowingly or knowingly, they operate in this. Most of the times people repress everything inside of them. They suppress their emotions, they suppress their hurts, which does not help over a long period of time. Another defense mechanism is regression, which is where the person acts childlike to cope up the problem. They turn themselves into child, they act themselves like child to cope up the problem. Now, why are we discussing about this? We always unknowingly operate in any one of the defense mechanism knowingly or unknowingly. But does it help? Yes, it helps. But will it help in a long run? No, it will not, because you can't be acting out always. So, sometimes we need to confront our defense mechanism. Now, how do we confront this? Either in a professional setup or when you realize that this pattern has been happening, you need to introspect and confront yourself with the truth, because only the truth can set you free. So, are we operating in defense mechanism? Yes. Is it helpful? Yes, but not in a long term. But only the truth can be your defense. When you introspect, when you allow the truth to confront you, you can come out of the defense mechanism. Till then, it will be there to help you cope your uncertain anxiety that is within you. So today we talked about what is defense mechanism, what are the types of it, how can you come out of it only when you allow. Thank you.